so people don't call, and my Bluetooth's off, and hello, golly, I'm stoked that there's somebody out there just sitting around. It's freezing cold. I have no makeup on whatsoever, and I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to make cookies for 3 days, and actually Sunday, Monday, today is Tuesday, so day 3, I'm like, wow, Nance, get with it, get busy. I'm gonna plug this in and see if this makes a difference here. Let me see here, sound wise. Can you hear me okay? I forgot to plug in my microphone. I wasn't even set up. I just was getting this set up and it said going live. Well, hello. So I'm making a recipe, shoot. I don't even have it pulled up on my phone yet. It's on my website, Keto for Real Life People. I think it was last year or even maybe the year before, I came up with a gingerbread cookie recipe, or a ginger cookie recipe, I should say, that is delicious. And I'm on a journey. I want to have some cocoa, some cookies, and some marshmallows at some point. So I'm going to get my cookies baked, and then I'm going to store them. They store well, they freeze well. You can put them in a Ziploc bag or an airtight container. You can freeze these and pull them out when you want them, or you can leave them in, the cabinet in a Ziploc bag or something like that, with little moisture as possible. And I will tell you, these ginger cookies, the secret to a wonderful cookie, a step you must not miss, is coating them with a little bit of sweetener. I use the Lakanto Golden. It makes an outer crispiness that you would get from a normal cookie and still have a chewiness that you like in the center. Not a cakiness, but a chewiness. So anyways, they're great. Now, one thing I haven't done, and I just honestly do not have enough ingredients to make 2 batches of these, so I got to make it go on the first round. I would love to know how they would do as far as rolling out and shaping. And if I can get this dough, if it's stiff enough today, I'm going to try to attempt it without the chill process. I would say if you can take the time to chill your dough for an hour, 30 minutes, let that butter and that fat come back in, kind of harden back up, you might get better results. And usually if your dough is nice and chilled before you pop it in the oven, you will also get better results. So there's some cookie tips for you. Hubby's off to physical therapy, so he's going to be gone for a little bit, but it's only, let's see, what is the temp now? You're right, what that day? 39. We've been in the 30s all day so far. And anywho, so this is this. Now there's one person. Okay, I don't care who you are. That's all good. Let's talk ingredients.
Is there something else I can help with?
No, Siri, be quiet. So I have 5 tablespoons of room temperature butter. I have my Lakanto Golden Sweetener. I've also got lupin flour, which really, guys, is wonderful. It really makes these cookies have that flour-like texture. Flaxseed goes in this. That gives that ginger, you know how ginger cookies have that little bit of a texture? That gives the texture to a true ginger cookie. I have some Lakanto syrup. You can use the maple, vanilla. I'm out of those flavors, but I do have caramel. That'll be just fine. A couple of tablespoons of that. And then spice. Spice is going to give your ginger cookie. I've got ground ginger. I've got ground cinnamon and ground cloves. And so that's going to, and let's not forget here, I need some baking soda. Oh yeah. And I need to pull up the recipe because I can't remember exactly the measurements. I know this is like 2 tablespoons. And I do believe I need an egg as well. But these use baking soda, not baking powder. So make sure that you grab the right one. And baking soda is great for certain things because it gives it that instant lift when it hits that heat. Whereas with baking powder, it's a more gradual. Like when you're baking something like a cake in the oven for 30 minutes, you want that baking powder to be working. With your baking soda, you want that little poof on your cookie, and we're done. It's great. So That's why I use that. I need my measuring spoons, my measuring cups, and a spatula. And I'm going to pull this scoopy out here just because I'm going to see what it does. Let's see if I have anybody's in here. Oh, there's my two people. It's Leslie. Good morning, Nancy from California. Good morning, Leslie. How are you? Oh, it's Tina Toten. Am I saying that right? I hope so. So let me grab my laptop real quick because, goodness, I need to pull up my website and pull up the recipe. I honestly was like, I'm just going to start setting this up, and I'll get the camera all ready because I wanted to just do this a little differently. I'm going to go, oh, that's my password. I don't need to say it out loud. That's so funny, right? So, oh, I guess I don't need the mouse. I can just go to my website here and pull this up. Oh, here, I don't need that. Pull it up. I really wasn't ready to go live. I should have just held on for a second, Tina, and then I wouldn't be putting you all through this, but there's my website. I do have it bookmarked so that I can just look it up. You know, on my website, there is a little magnifying glass, and you can just type in what you're looking for or a keyword, like ginger, for instance. And then the first thing that pops up is my ginger cookies. And now I'm already there. Voila! So, half a cup, equal amounts. Ginger, cloves, cinnamon, baking soda. See it? Yep. Butter, yep. Syrup, yep. Water, and water. I didn't even need an egg. Huh, good to know. Believe it or not, y'all, I'm the type of person that I get cravings like anybody else. I don't necessarily want cookies all the time, and I don't necessarily need cookies on hand all the time. So when I get in the mood for something, that's when my creative things start flowing, and I'm like, you know, I think I'll create a cookie recipe today, or hey, you know, I'm gonna create a cookie or a candy or a cake or a tortilla or something. And then once I satisfy the craving, I'm done with it. So I haven't probably made these ginger cookies since last Christmas. Maybe February, January, you know, who knows during the colder months. I'm more apt to bake. So according to my directions, I am to measure out, preheat my oven to 350. Good idea. I'll turn that on while I'm talking. I have to remove my giant cast iron skillets too because, yeah, there's no room for them anywhere else, so I keep them in the oven. I do not like it because I don't know how many times I've turned that oven on and my pots or my skillets are in there just getting hot. So in a large bowl, mix together the butter and the sugar on high speed until light and fluffy. Let's do that. I got a bit of a sore throat today, y'all. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna get out my mixer. You know, funny how you open the cabinets and you see something, you're like, oh man, I didn't even forgot that was in there. There's a bag of split peas in there. As if they will ever get used. All right, so I have my mixer. It's just a hand mixer. You could use a stand mixer, hand mixer. It doesn't really matter. For the sake of this, I'm going to just do the hand mixer so I can work from one place and get my cord out here. And then my regular traditional beaters right here. And there we go. Good morning, Patricia or Patrick. Oh, we got a guy dude in here. Hi, Tony. Good morning, y'all. So, yeah, hand mixer. All right, here, let's get these little slots going. And it'll be allowed for just a second or two while we do this. Really make sure that your sugar substitute, sweetener, is nice and combined. Right here, you want it light and fluffy. So we are looking at quarter cup. Get these measuring cups up here. And make sure I've got quarter cup. And I just kind of beat my sugars down because it gets kind of like you get those little lumpy balls in the bag. So crunch it down. You don't want terrible lumps. It makes for more precise measuring. There we go. Across the top of my butter. And I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Can you see what I'm doing? I hope so. Let's see here. I'm looking at a fuzzy mic, so I can't see what y'all are seeing. There we go. Put that there. And we're just going to, I want to make sure that you guys see everything that I'm doing there. I want to adjust you a little bit. Thank you, Tony. But let's do this a little bit better. Almost from there. There we go. A little bit better, huh? Totally taking a different angle than what I normally do. All right. Let's get it going. This is one of these, it's kind of reversed like for a left-handed person. You don't need a huge bowl. So I'm gonna get this going so it doesn't spit, and then I'm just gonna kick it out. I'm probably almost up high. If you have not tried these cookies, you guys, I encourage you to make them. Looking good. I should have, this bowl has straight sides. I probably needed a rounded bowl a little bit, but it's gonna work. There. Nice and light and fluffy. Ouch. Ay, Chihuahua. He's so hot. So it's nice and light and fluffy, y'all. Next, we are going to, I could have swore I had an egg in here, but whatever, I guess. I mean, continue to mix and add syrup. Oh, let's get some syrup. And I think we're at 2 tablespoons of that. Yes. Oh, yeah, butter. Where's my sweetener or my syrup? 2 tablespoons. There we go. I guess I could just do it like this. I normally have these things, you know, preset so that they come out, but I'm gonna just mix this in. This is going to be your chewy factor. Why? I was like, you know, a lot of people say, hey, why is this ingredient in here? And you just can't figure out why it's so random and why it's in there, but it's because it gives that chew. Do you remember back in the day when you would eat like, a Chips Ahoy chewy chocolate chip cookie or oatmeal cookie, and it had that sticky chew to it that everybody loves? Well, that's because they use corn syrup or molasses when they're making gingerbread. So again, that syrup not only lends some flavor, but it also gives it some chew factor. Oh, it's quite sticky. And we're going to give this a little mix. Oh, it's just so backwards. And fluff that in there. There we go. And around we go until that's nice and incorporated. My elbow with this weather, I'll tell you what, has been really helpful for me. I've got this elbow, it's jacked up. I don't know if it's arthritis. I don't know, because I refuse to go to the doctor. CBD oil ointment. One of my group members sent me some homemade CBD ointment. She makes it for her daughter who has an autoimmune disease. So she sent it for my husband and his back pain. He wasn't able to use it. So I started using it in the last month and a half now, and oh my gosh, it's wonderful. Unfortunately, I haven't used it yet today, and it's cold. I can really feel whatever this is. So after syrup, after butter and sweetener, then we do the dry ingredients a little at a time until completely combined. Add water and let dough come together. So let's go ahead and we're going to get a 1/2 cup of flaxseed. Guys, lightly, don't just scoop and do like this and lift up and push because you're packing, and that'd be way too much. When you're doing your thing, just kind of gently let it fall in and shake off, and then you're gonna have a better measurement. Another great way to measure is use a spoon, especially if you're making something like cake. If you're baking a cake and you want something that it's not heavy and dense, definitely give your flour a stir, and then use a spoon to fill it and knife to level it. You're closer to the true measurement than you would be if you were just to scoop it up. Same thing, in the old days. See, I like to fluff it just a little bit and then come back at it and shake it off. I kind of go back and forth, and I know that I'm going to get a better measurement. And I need baking soda. Oh gosh, let me move that like that, and I think we are at a teaspoon of baking soda. Yep. I wasn't too far off on my thoughts. I was just like, it's just been so long. I need to refresh my brain. And again, I've got a lot of baking soda, right? It's because oh shoot. I know I'm good at baking messes too. So into it goes. And you can add a titch of salt. Let me get a little bit of water here too. I'll just have it ready and sitting right there. And I'm gonna give a pinch of salt, y'all, because in all things, even in a cake, I'll add a little bit of salt. It just brings the richness of the sweetness out. All right, now let's give this a mix. Start on low. You don't want to sling it everywhere. And just kind of get it incorporated. It's going to be thick, and that's what we want, is thick. Ugh. I see this big old chunk of baking powder there. Look at that. I do that. There we go. I'm going to get up on the sides of my bowl, y'all. And in the edges. Now I want to stop here for a second because I want you to see what this looks like. This is not normal baking because keto, you can't always get it, but see how it looks? You can see the crumbles. And if I were to squish it together, it would stick, but I do want just a little bit of moisture. So I'm going to take and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. And that's it. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish mixing it out. You could probably use a food processor for this as well as a hand mixer. Just to make your dough. It doesn't even have to be up on high. This is coming together so quickly. Having room temperature butter. Now see, flaxseed is now starting to absorb. And the flaxseed is going to count as your egg. I now remember why. When you can't have eggs, or you don't have any eggs because you ran out, which happens in our house, flaxseed and water is a great substitute. It's a wonderful substitute. It even has your omegas, and it's full of fat. So let me kind of spin those out there a little bit. Clean my beaters off without slinging it everywhere. There we go. And now you shall see what we have here. Now it looks different. You can see it's stickier, and it is a actual dough. And I'm gonna just keep coming around here. Now this is a small batch. You could actually double this, y'all, but again, I'm keto, so I don't need a whole bunch of cookies. You could double this, you could triple this, you could make enough keto cookies for friends and family. You could make enough at a time that you could actually, like I said, put some in little bags and wrap them and freeze them so you have them on hand. But for general purposes, it doesn't take this long to put it together. It only takes me this long because I can't stop talking. All right, so that's right there. Oh, shoot. Shooty shoot. Y'all, I forgot my seasoning, my spices, it wouldn't have tasted very gingery. So 1 teaspoon ginger. Yeesh. I was putting my other measuring spoons away and I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. So you can do these spices as little or as much as you like. This is my go-to here. I got a teaspoon of ground ginger. Put this back on here. A half a teaspoon on cinnamon. We really want the ginger to be the star of this, not the cinnamon. Not the cinnamon. Oh, shooty shoot. I just used the half teaspoon measurement. There we go. See, I'm not all that. I'm gonna get another half teaspoon there. And I'm gonna grab, forgive me, but this arm is just being a pain in my bahootie. In my bahootie. And now we're gonna go with a half a teaspoon there. And on your cloves, now cloves is very strong, y'all. So it really does help with the spiciness of your cookie, like gingerbread. Yes, ginger, yes, and clove and cinnamon. But I think that clove and ginger are the star of the show. Let me go down here to the smaller one. Clove is very strong, and especially if it's fresh. Oh, I was like, here, smell it. Just smell it. I'm going to go with like a rounded quarter teaspoon. So it's not quite a half. But it's really going to bring a lot of flavor. You know what cloves remind me of? I can smell the spiciness of it, but it also reminds me of raisins. I don't know why, but when I smell these, I think mincemeat pie, I think raisins, it has a raisiny element to it. I don't know. Let me get this out of here and I'll whisk it in with my mixer one more time, y'all. There we go. And that way I make sure that I don't have any little clumps and that my seasonings are all through there nice and even. Oh, now it smells like cookies too. It smells like gingerbread. Yes. Yes. There we go. And I'm just going to tap my beaters off right here. And use my little spatula to get all of that cookie dough out of there. That is, we need every little bit for this. Oh, now it smells so good, you guys. So good. Yes. So tasty. Tap, tap, tap. I'm gonna grab this right here. Wipe my hands off. All right. I got a little bit of dough that kind of slung out. I'm just gonna sling it back in. And I want you to, again, we got this dough and it's firm. It is not runny. Your cookie is not gonna taste like cake unless you forget to do what I said about the sweetener on the outside. See, I think as stiff as this dough is, that if it was chilled, the butter could kind of harden a little bit. I think that we would get a good rolled cookie. I mean, I can experiment. What do y'all think? Should I just do my traditional cookies or should I play? Let's see here. Can we still have the recipe? Because I just joined Rolla. Yes, it's on my website, hon. Good morning. Did you make this last year? I did, Tony. It's just that I'm in the mood for cookies. So I said I'm baking some cookies. Hey, Tony. Okay, yeah, so, yeah. If you haven't tried these, I posted Sunday on Facebook that I was going to make cookies. And I'm just now getting to it. It's cold today, y'all. It was rainy and cold Sunday, but nothing like today. Oh, another little tidbit for you. I can close this down now. Do not taste your dough. I don't care how good it smells. Lupin flour tastes terrible by itself, and it sure doesn't hide the baking soda in these. So when you taste your dough, you'll be like, it's not like traditional cookie dough where you get to taste the cookie dough and eat it. So I have my pan right here, and if I were to experiment, then try to just roll a little bit. I just think it's going to be too soft, especially when my hands touch this. But if I make it traditional, y'all, it'll be wunderbar. I want a little, oh, here's the dish. I had it out here for a reason. So I'm going to take a little saucer, okay? And I'm going to take a little bit of sweetener. Can you see that? Yeah. And I am going to just sprinkle a little across the plate. And there's one of those big old clumps, as they do. And get that there, okay? So what I want to do is get that clump broken. I want to get a scoop. You can use a teaspoon, or a little scoop like this, and you could even get a smaller scoop. This is like a mini ice cream scoop. I love using it because I can just take and scoop and flatten, guys, so that it's like this. You don't want big rounded ones. You just want to take and pop it out, and that's what it looks like. It's still a very generous, and I take it and I put it in here. I drop it, and basically you're sanding the cookie. I got these clumps. Now, at this point, you've got it nice and covered and coated. You can give it just a little tap, and down it goes. You want to place these cookies about 1 inch apart, 1.5 inches apart. They don't spread a whole lot. They could spread down just right. But flatten it out because you're going to maximize your amount of servings. Click it and roll it. And this little bit right here is what makes these cookies taste like better than store-bought. Better than any, and I'm going to just say it, better than any little keto cookie I've ever tasted in my life. I've tasted some pretty good ones over the last 3 years, you guys. I've been to conferences. If you want to pat it out a little bit before, you can, just to make sure that you get this coating on here. Top, bottom, and sides. And dust it off, and there we go. Like about like that. Just like that. And they always have this cake-like texture. The only cookie that I've tasted store-bought, I call them store-bought, is Super Fat's cookies. Super Fat cookies have this light crispiness that remind me, and they're tiny little things, but they are light and crispy, and they are quite amazing. The only problem I have with their cookies is they tend to break in shipping. Every time I receive a package of them, they are pretty much cookie crumbs. So that's not as good, but the flavor is there. The texture is there. So here we go. Just like, and you can see right now, I am already on, there's 5. This is a half a dozen cookies right here with this little bit. Because you know, when you make traditional cookies, it's like 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, so much butter, you know, and I took this and I said, a half a cup of lupin, a half a cup of the sweetener. So basically it's like a half a batch. And I'm totally cool with it. Now, my daughter is really doing good. Melissa's doing good on her keto journey. She doesn't eat a lot of sweets, so I don't know how she's never tasted them. She was living in California, and she just moved here 6 months ago, so I've got some that are... And so I haven't really done any baking. It was too hot this summer. And she's not huge into sweets. Once in a while, she likes some. Every now and then she'll want a little bit of chocolate or something, or ice cream, but not very often. All right, so there is 2, 4, 6, 8 cookies, and I'm going to scooch over just my pan over just a little bit here. Set it down there so that I can keep working. You know, and if you were to make these smaller, they would work. They would be just fine. Got a couple of little of those crumbles. I don't know how they'll do. And then I got quiet, huh? Was the silence just awkward? It was awkward for me. Was it awkward for you? Oh, there's 10 cookies. I think that's gonna be about it, y'all. About 10 cookies for this. Again, smaller portions, smaller cookies. You could get at least 20. And this gonna be my baby cookie right here. I'll just roll it around. I did try this without the sweetener, y'all. And they get that cake-like texture. They're soft, they're cake-like, they're like, mah, mah, mah. All right, and that's all there is to it. How easy was that? Let me do this. I got sugary fingers. Oh, kind of one of these things is doing its own thing. There we go. Look. And we can pop these in the oven. I think it's for 10 minutes. I think my time is 10 minutes on these, so we'll just wait. In the meantime, I will make up my afternoon coffee, and you can follow along with me while we have a chit chat. Let's see here. I do want to set a timer. Timers are wonderful things when you're baking cookies. Because if not, you burn them. Ask Elizabeth. My daughter Elizabeth is having hell when she does cookies. 12 to 14 minutes. Okay, so let's set this timer for 10. We'll call it good. And then I could check on them at 10 and see where we need to be. Let's see. I saw a comment pass by. How about I do this? Click. I can just come into my own and see where we are. There we go. There I am. My gentle. There it goes. And live and mute. There we go. So Grammy D says, wow, so thankful to catch the live again after 3 days in hospital with grandson. Thankful to hear your laugh and see you smile. Missed you, your laugh and your chats. Well, thank you guys. Oh, I hope your grandson, your grandchild is doing better. The name of the cookie, Leslie, are ginger cookies. I wanted to call them gingerbread, but I haven't actually put them to the test. And I wonder how long, if I bake them, like if I lower that temp and let them go low and slow, could I get them to be hard, like the ginger snap? And I wonder if I could do that, could I actually make a gingerbread house? So I might just be playing a little bit. I got to get some more ingredients though. I'm kind of running short on a few things here, but I think it's worth exploring. And I could take one or two of these little cookies and just leave them in there, lower that temperature, and just let them go, 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 go. And if I can get a crunchy, crunchy, crunchy cookie, a gingerbread house would be a doable thing. Who doesn't love gingerbread houses or gingerbread men? I love them once a year. It's just part of the tradition. And then I know another thing that I need to make is marshmallows. I shared my recipe for marshmallows back in October with everyone for s'mores. But I think that these ginger cookies would make a wonderful s'more in the first thing. Second thing, I want to make just a small pan of marshmallows, just a quarter baking sheet. And then I want to just let them dry and cut them into squares. So I could just plop a square onto my cup of cocoa. I'm all about it this year. That's what I'm wanting. Not fudge, not peanut brittle, not peppermint, but just a cup of cocoa and some gingerbread. That's all I want for Christmas. And I'm gonna get it. But when I make up this batch of marshmallow, I'm gonna take half, I'm gonna divide it. I'm gonna get my little marshmallows for my cocoa. And then I want to take pecans and chop them. And I want to incorporate them into my marshmallows and roll them out and almost make a dipped chocolate pecan marshmallow candy. And that one I could do for Christmas too. I guess I could eat it. I mean, you know. So, anywho, keep wondering when we will explore with you. You know, I am fixing, for those of you who might be in here. I don't see any of my members. All right, so I will explain to you guys here for a minute. Let me make my coffee drink. While I'm at it, what do I do with my cup? Ah, it's right here. So every afternoon, you guys, I've been enjoying an iced coffee. Even though it's icy outside, I put some ice in the glass. This is a really nice big glass coffee mug style glass. I get out my sweetener. Oh my God, it's sweetener. Yeah, it's sweetener and I enjoy it. And then I get out heavy cream, coffee, and almond milk. And this is my go-to drink. And it has been. It has been for almost a month now. I enjoy it at least 3 or 4 times a week. So I start with some syrup. With this size glass, I get 2 pumps. And just gently do it because if not, it will spray everywhere. This happens to be Jordan's Skinny Syrups. 0 calories, 0 sugar. It does have sucralose in it, but sucralose does not bother me. And this is Irish cream. My other one that I do is butter toffee or salted caramel. So, but this is the Irish cream. And then I look at this. You get 1 carb per 8 ounces of almond milk. So I do about a cup or halfway with the ice in there. It's not going to be quite a cup. I put that over the top of the syrup. At this point, you can stop. It's good. You just sweeten your almond milk with a little bit of flavoring, and when you want that milkiness, this is a great one if you want, but you can continue on like I'm going to do. I have the Starbucks cold brew coffee concentrate. It's in the dry coffee aisle, and I get this. It says 3/4 of a cup is a serving. I don't dilute it per se. It says add water. I don't. And I don't use 3/4 of a cup. I splash it in here because I want that intense. Probably somewhere about 1/3 of a cup of coffee. And then to make it super rich, I grab heavy cream. You can stop right here. You can, but you'll be like, you need a little fat. So we got to put a little fat, just about 1.5 tablespoons. And I call it done. I call it done, done, done. And I give a little stir. Now, depending on when I do this, I will tell you there are times that I add an ounce of vodka. No joke. Sometimes, you know, when you want a cocktail, one of the things that I used to enjoy, and I think we enjoyed these back in November when we had a girls' weekend. This is what we did. White Russians, I love them, but you don't do the Kahlua because it's sugary. And so this right here gives you all of that flavor, and if you put just a little bit, you've got a White Russian. So they make a great cocktail, but they make a great afternoon coffee drink too. You could top this with whipped cream. You could add caramel syrup on it. You can make this a beautiful, this is as good as going and spending $5 or $6 on a specialty coffee drink at a famous store. So let me put these back in here. There we go. I would love to. I actually have looked it up how to do my own cold brew, but really it takes a process to make my own. And I'm like, oh, because it's expensive to buy that concentrate. I have had it almost, probably about a month, so I guess it works out. Break it down, $7 and, I don't know, $7+ for a bottle of that concentrate. But I have been using it 2 or 3 times a week at least, and not just for myself, for a month. So it pays for itself. It's cheaper than going to Starbucks. Let's see here. Yes, Keto Rocky Road. You got it. You got it, girl. Let's see. Tony says, I made them. Good stuff. Yes, and I will post the recipe because it's already linked up. It's, like I said, it's been on my website. I am working on a new cookie recipe as well. I'll show y'all something I made. And I have not posted the recipe because I haven't even decided what to call these. So I keep them in the freezer. I made them Sunday instead of making cookies. These wonderful little pecans. Do you see how there is a pecan in there? Yeah. They're so delicious. So I made these Sunday, and the bowl is still full because I reach in and grab one whenever I'm talking to y'all. If you love going to the mall and you love how it smells like pecans or almonds, and you could definitely use almonds instead of pecans, and you love that smell of those World Market toasters where they're toasting the nuts and they're putting that candied cinnamon on them, and they've got that wonderful Christmas in your mouth feel. That's what they do. Texturally, that's sounding weirder the more I say it. It's a little softer, a little creamier outside because it's white chocolate and cream. It's Christmas spices and something else I put in it. I can't remember. I've got it written down, don't worry. But delicious, delicious, and coconut. So it just has this wonderful texture. So I want to take that same concept and grind my pecans down, and I want to come up with a no-bake coconut pecan cookie that like a snowball type of cookie. I think they will be delicious, that they'll hold together. That is so satisfying, and a cookie is going to be great. Even if I didn't have cocoa, that would be good. So good. Delicious. Oh, there goes my timer. Let me grab my hot pad here. I'm going to check because I do think that, I maybe should have given a little bit more space because they did come out. I'm going to go 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. And then we'll be done here. And I can get out my rack. My rack. Of course. This thing does. I'm going to tell you, I have to be upside down on my head. The way this house is put together, I'm like, urgh. There. We have our little rack right here. And these cookies, I will tell you, they will kind of fall apart and crumble because they're so soft when they come out. But as they cool down, they do tighten up. They do get that crispiness when they're completely cooled down. So be patient. Do I have a dog? I do. I have 2 dogs. Why would you ask, Patrick? Patrick. There's 1 minute. We're gonna go 1 more. I have a husky. Her name is Maggie. She just turned 1 on November 8th, and I went and picked her up on December 29th. Yes, so it's coming up on my 1 year with her as well. And her Bubba is Oliver. He's all white husky. Mine's a traditional black and gray, but they're Bubba and sister, and he comes over during the week while my daughter's at work. So she has the brother to my little girl. All right, now there's a different little smell. It's a little toastier. Let's look here. Oh. Turn my oven off. And again, I would maybe space them just a little bit because they are touching on my pan, as you can see. But I'm gonna just kind of let this cool down. And I want you to see that when I touch them, they feel very cake-like, very soft, but fear not. Give them a second to cool off and they will start changing on you. There we go. I'm all, let's just wait a minute while they cool off. Tell you what, I was cold. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and went outside, as I do. I go outside every morning. I don't care. It's cold. It was in the 30s. I was outside from 5 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning. Not in the one spot, by the way. I was out busy this morning. Anyway, it was wonderful, wonderful spending that much time outside. But when I got in here and then to get to my shower, I was like, it is chilly in this house. So I had to kick it up a few degrees. And even then I was like, it still feels a little chilly. Now that I've been baking, the kitchen is warm, the heater is going, I'm like, it feels wonderful. It feels so Christmassy to me. I'm just missing Christmas music. Hey Google, play instrumental Christmas music, please.
Got it. Here's a YouTube music playlist called Solo Piano Christmas.
It's just finish this up, right? Hey Google, turn down by 2. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're gonna get a little spatula. There we go. All right, I was talking about memberships earlier. And I'm gonna be changing some things. I've talked with somebody who's an advisor, and it's going to be based on value. Like if you find value in what I do, like I get on here and just do lives and ask you to hang out in my kitchen, and you know, but if you feel like you just want to be part of it, or you want to help keep me going on my keto journey, and let me turn it down a little bit. You might become a member, you know, and then we're talking about different ways to not add to my workload, but maybe bring you in closer into my workspace when I'm just doing recipes or if I'm behind the scenes. So I am going to, I mean, it's just something to think about. And now I'm going to just shake this off of my spatula, or I thought so. I've never used a metal spatula. I think the steam got right on there. It did. And you have to be a little bit, because they're going to be sticky from that sweetener on the bottom, y'all. This is so funny. That's what it is. I've never used a metal spatula. I always use just a plastic non-stick spatula. Let's see if I can do it, make it slide off. There we go. I got me a thing going on now, y'all. I'm gonna keep this one little guy right here in the middle, and I'm just gonna pop it in the oven, and I'm gonna lower my temperature down to like 200, 225. And I'm just gonna let that one go low and slow and see what happens to it. That's how you figure things out. You take the chance. You can see that this little cookie, do you see how kind of dark it is around the edges? You can see that. I don't know if you can see how dark that is compared to, say, this one. You can see, I mean, this is the smaller cookie and this is the lighter, and you can see how much lighter this one is. So a smaller cookie, that was like half the size, and you would have to watch your timing, probably closer to 10 to 11 minutes, because you don't want them to go 12 to 14 basically. But I could definitely do this. I need to get a smaller scooper, because I honestly think that's the perfect size cookie. And that's the perfect size cookie. Miss Sharon and I were talking yesterday about you can't just eat one. You know, when you eat something, you eat the first one and it's so good that you have to have the second one. So under the circumstances, I would definitely say this is a perfect size cookie. So when you eat one and you want another one, it probably equals this. All right, so those are my cookies, you guys. Thank you, Tina is a supporter on Facebook. And I do want to encourage y'all, if you are a supporter on Facebook, I am trying to encourage everyone to just, whether it's Patreon or Facebook, maybe consider going over to YouTube and just get out of the Facebook thing if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. But I am focusing more and more. If you notice, most of my lives for cooking tutorials are all on YouTube now. And I'm just doing support and updates and chats on Facebook. That's pretty much how I've been able to separate it, because for a longest time I was doing cooking tutorials on Facebook, then I'd do my cooking tutorials on YouTube, and then I'd upload to Instagram, and then I was trying, it was just trying to be more organized, work smarter, not harder, and bring better quality content. There we go. All right, well guys, that's it. So I got this one is, because it's smaller, it's already just cooling down, and I can already, you hear it? As it cools down, it crisps back up. It starts getting firmer and firmer. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. And yes, these ones are starting to get that light, crispy edges around them as well. It's almost like they finish out on the rack. It's gonna be so good with my coffee, you guys. Thank you so much. I don't know, should I take a, I don't want to take a bite. I want to take a bite because I always take a bite for y'all, but I'm like, yeah, they're still kind of warm. I know, dilemmas. Man, it's a hard choice. Hey, what do you guys think of this angle when I'm doing this? I mean, just because I'm here and I'm live, why not ask, right? So I think in the past, I've always gone like dead on with this, and it seems like it's so far away. I tried today to do something a little different, maybe bring it in on an angle, and maybe so you could see what I'm doing a little better. I hope the sound is good, and I hope that your what I'm doing here shows up better than what it's been. It drives me nuts, y'all. I overthink it, and I mean, I've been at this almost 3 years, and I'm just now figuring, move the camera. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. Consider becoming a subscriber and hitting that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification button. That way you know when I'm doing a live or uploading a new video or anything like that. All right, here we go. Again, it's so quickly, it's cooling down. Crunch is there. Guys, they're so delicious. Oh, how lovely. So glad I did this. And it's not even completely cool yet, and it's already delicious. You just can't get a cookie like that that's keto. I just did a product review of cookies that were cakes, and I'm like, meh, they're wet, they're cake-like. I don't want a cookie like that. I don't mind a cookie that has that chewy interior, but it's got to have that structure on the outside that makes it a cookie. You know what? I was just talking about marshmallows. This is the way my brain works. So I'm talking about marshmallows, doing things with them. Wouldn't these be delicious? I said s'mores, right? No, no, no. Let's put marshmallows in between them and make oatmeal cookies. But we need to make sure, or I need to, I say we, like y'all are gonna be sitting in my kitchen with me, having a cookie baking party. These tiny ones, the half-size ones, they'd be wonderful with a marshmallow filling sandwiched between two little cookies. They'd be dang good, doggone it. I got to get busy. Dang it, that was good. Sometimes that's how my ideas pop up. It's hard because I've been doing this for 3 years. You know, the well runs dry sometimes. I'm like, what am I gonna make? How can I create something new? And then all of a sudden I make something that I've already made, and now I've got new, fresh ideas on what to do with it. Taking some of the things I already have and making something different with it and fresh with it. I think it sounds wonderful to me. I don't know about y'all, but I like the idea. Gail said, I left Facebook about 4 months ago and I never missed it once. You know, I took a break from it. I haven't completely gotten off, but I have kind of just backed away, especially over the last 4 days for personal reasons, not anything on Facebook. But it was just what I needed. You know what I mean? It was peaceful. It was nice. I mean, back in the day, we didn't have things like that, did we? I say back in the day when my kids grew up in the 90s and even the early 2000s, internet was something you used to pay bills, to get emails, maybe play a couple of games, you know, like the snaky one that goes through the maze or whatever. Now look where we are 20 years later. We can't break anything out. We can't do anything without it. So, and I'm thankful for it in one area because I never would have thought I'd be on YouTube doing something like this. But at the other time, you have to have balance and take a break. It does you good. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for listening to me rant while I bake, and I hope you try these cookies. I'd love for you to come back and please post your results. Let me know what you think. I'd like to get your feedback. It always makes a difference. And again, thank you. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, share it, do those kind of things, and consider becoming a member over here on YouTube. And I ask you to have a blessed day. What was it I said earlier today? Just keep it keto. Guys, thank you so much.